So Lydia, we've talked about how, there's things that have changed for us and we don't even think about it anymore. We used to call it our new normal and now it's just like life as it is. So for me, the big one is if I leave the house, I've always got catheters with me. I have 5 different size bags and I always have, if I'm going down the street, I have 3 catheters with me, even though I only use 5 a day. I might have 6 with me, I might have 10 with me, I just have supplies with me all the time. And you just get used to that, it's pretty normal. The other thing for me is I set my alarm on my watch every 4 hours, and most of the time it doesn't bother me at all. What about you? What are some of the things that you just do now and it doesn't even faze you?
As far as catheters, I don't use a catheter to empty daily, but there's always the possibility that there might be a glitch of some kind and I might need a catheter. So if I travel out of town, I have a little bag of catheters, just because to try and find catheters, wherever I might be would be pretty difficult. Other things are just being mindful of the time. I don't have an alarm set because I find that my need to void is not as regular. It's heavily determined by the amount of liquid I take in. So just being mindful and paying attention to my body's cues. And so we do a lot of long road trips. And so just learned over the years where the nice rest stops are. And we pace ourselves accordingly. So I know, if there's a rest stop coming up in an hour, I can drink freely. And then by the time we get there, I'll be able to use the bathroom.
Yeah, another one for me is, I learned this the hard way, I always have a change of clothes if I'm going anywhere outside, my normal daily routine. And when I travel, I have a change of clothes in my, my carry-on, which has all my catheters. And I learned that, not because I leak, but because I was in an airport restroom one time, and the woman next to me asked me to hand her some toilet paper. And without even thinking, I went to hand her toilet paper, and I took my hand off my catheter, and what did it do? It soaked me. And with the potential of leakage, it's like, yeah, you know what? You might have a change of clothes with you. So it's funny how there's just little things that just don't seem like a big deal. Carrying an extra shirt isn't a big deal.
Yeah, for nighttime, I will leak on a rare occasion. So if we're traveling, I'll bring pads to wear at night. I won't bring an extra pair of pajamas because there is the potential to leak. I'm off my routine. I might leak more often when I'm away. I don't know. I haven't seen that pattern, but it could happen. So I do bring extra pajamas for travel.
Yeah, I know people in the IP community. I drink a lot of coffee. I don't feel like it impacts my pouch. But I know there are people who watch their caffeine or they watch their acidity, orange juice, things like that. Some people feels it impacts them, some people don't. So there are those different things. Do people in your community find that there's different things that might impact or irritate their neo that they might ingest?
Yeah, so for function and continence, we've been told that alcohol and caffeine can impact that. People can have a glass of wine for dinner, or if they like to have a couple beers when they're out with their friends, of course they can. For some people, it might not have an impact. For others, they may find that they need to go more often, or maybe they might leak a little. It's all taken into account.
Yeah. The other big question we get is swimming. Can you swim? Can you go in a hot tub? My doctor always says that thing was made out of your bowel. It's not sanitary. Go in the darn hot tub. I've never been that big of a hot tub person, but I swim when we travel, and I love a pool, and there's lots of people I know in the Indiana Post community that go in hot tubs and don't have an issue. It's really, how's the water issue on the neo side?
I'm a big swimmer.
Yeah.
And pretty soon after, I would say, not the first summer, I was still a little sorting things out. But over the past several years, totally in the pool for as much as I want.
Yeah. Really no limits. And as far as the new normal, that's pretty much it. And you do get used to it pretty darn quickly.
Yeah, I think so. In the beginning, there's a lot to take in. It's overwhelming. You're taking in a lot of information. You're getting used to your body and how it's working. And so in the beginning, there's a lot to think about. But over time, I would say it becomes pretty normal.
And I'm glad you said that, because in the beginning, I think one of the hardest things for me was being patient with myself.
Yes.
And I had numerous doctors, including an eye doctor, who said, Sandy, this is one of the top 5 most difficult surgeries you can go through. They remove an organ, build a new organ out of one of your other major organs. It's gonna take you time to recover. It's gonna take your body time to heal.
Right.
And then you're also getting used to this new way of life. So it does take time.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Early on, people can get anxious that it's not working properly, but there's a massive amount of healing going on. There's swelling, the body is sorting itself out, things are settling down, and especially with developing continence, I think it takes time, and I think you have to be patient to develop that and follow, the instructions you're given. But it does get better. It does take a little time.
Yeah. I would say these 2 diversions are not plug and play, but they are worth the investment in learning, learning how they work, figuring out, because they're different for everybody, they're your own new organ, but they're definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely.